invested meaningfully in the lives of the youth from these communities for more than a decade before they began their professional journey. Diversity and inclusion make us a better industry for today, and most importantly,
We understand now. What is up, dudes? That's in all my beautiful brawlers of the interwebs, Bloody Nugs here, aka the Gothic Envy, all Res Anime King, but more importantly, the king of the Fight Club, guys. We are back today with day 3
we have brought
of
together
E3.
a few of our
It's the 3 ED.
their organization's
The
mission
ED3.
in this endeavor,
Day
as well as
3
giving
E3.
insights on how
D3
we,
E3.
the industry,
It's my robot name.
continue
I'm not R2D2 anymore.
important steps together for the future.
Akumu,
We hope
from
that
now on, I am D3 E3.
inspiring as we do. It is now
Uh-huh, exactly. So,
strengthened
whoop, let's go.
colleagues,
There's the Becky.
Director of
Hi there.
Diversity and Inclusion for 2K,
And hey there, Cootie.
moderator for today's
Guys, the Akumo is here, but right now she is currently relaxing. You may occasionally see her arm pop out as she tries to distract me over here. But she is. She's right over there. That everyone said wave to her. Yeah, there it is. Wave, wave. But today is day 3 of E3, and you know what that means. Today we have. This is the day where we're actually going to be kind of segmented up. Um, not all right. Games for change. Got it, Susanna. Not right now.
Hi, Becky.
She said hiya. Okay. Did you hear Becky? Does she need to yell louder? Yeah, yeah, we get you, guys. Anyways, she said she heard you. She's watching on her phone right now while she's relaxing because she's a little sleep. She's a little tired still because she didn't get much sleep last night because just couldn't sleep much. To be, huh? And she also had some nightmares, my poor baby. But it's okay because she's here with me and now she know that she can get all the sleep that she needs. But guys, today, yeah, I know my poor sweetheart. Yeah, she had a nightmares last night, so it made it hard for her to sleep. Also, my love, I left my straw over there with you.
No, I just see one straw.
Unless it's by your feet.
I see one straw.
Okay, well, I guess I put it around somewhere. I'll figure it out. Anyways, today is gonna be a bit segmented, so we are gonna kind of be all over the place. I am gonna go ahead and turn up the audio now just a bit so y'all can hear whatever it's saying.
Absolutely. Equity and diversity has been a challenge for the gaming industry since its inception.
What do you mean? What the fuck is this? It's the Take Two Interactive showcase at E3.
We're seeing in the last 2 to 3 years are the lack of it in the modern era and the rationale.
But for everyone else, today's going to be a bit segmented in the showcases that we're going to see because right now it's the Take Two Interactive, and then it's going to be Mythical Games, and then it's going to be the Indie Showcase, and then we're actually going to take a break before we come back later today for what else is on the schedule is Freedom Games, and then later tonight is going to be Capcom, and that's going to be a short one. So there will be a bit of a breakup, but not as much of a breakup as it is going to be for tomorrow, because tomorrow at 11 a.m. Central Standard Time will be the Nintendo Direct, and then we'll come back at 4 for Bandai's showcase, and then back at 7 because that will be the showcase, or that'll be the E3 awards to close out tomorrow.
Black and indigenous students in particular, because they have the least amount of representation within our industry out of all the various demographic groups. We've been focusing on scholarships, but the challenge that we have, and I
you don't give a fuck. You want to see some ACC games?
It starts earlier than that. There's a phrase.
What the hell are you talking about?
I can't remember who attributes.
I can't wait for Capcom either.
I remember saying the
and
inequities of our
talking to the others in the chat.
And that sticks with me because the reality is, if you don't have a great opportunity or access to computer science labs and specialized education in grade school and high school and junior high school, the odds of you having a great portfolio piece when it comes time to apply to a program like ours puts you at a deficit.
Shut up. I was talking to you over there.
Rolling on into the future,
Peanut gallery.
Generation after generation, the gap between the ability to get into some of these slots in game design and not being able to get them gets wider and wider.
Capcom's going to be interesting, but they did kind of what Square Enix did. Their cootie is that they put their what they're going to be talking about out in the open already. Like Square Enix said, hey, our showcase is going to focus on these. Capcom did the same thing. Everyone wants to hope for something bit more from Capcom, but I don't think that we're going to get anything crazy right now.
Because they've never seen anyone like me and the videos they see on YouTube or other visitors to their classes, to their seminars. So it's important to show that we have presence here, but it's also important to make sure that the students who look like us, who are 20 years, 30 years, 40 years behind us, also have the opportunities that we didn't in some cases to get a job in this industry.
So it seems right now they're talking about
so important there. Susanna, that really kind of speaks to a lot of the great work that you're doing in helping to reach this underserved community.
Oh, you didn't see what Capcom put, so it's going to be a surprise to you? Yeah, and that's fair. That's fair.
Sure. Our mission, as you said earlier, is to empower game designers and social innovators, right? To use games for social change. And we see our work with younger people as really
Just the
inspiring the
volume a
next
bit.
generation, right? And so, just what Jim was saying, like we're going as young as sixth grade, sometimes fifth grade, but trying to um, give young people
So it
mostly
looks like they're
in
focused on
Title One
talking about
schools.
so
So
far
those are
that they're
schools that
focused more
qualify for
on
free lunches, which
kind of what
often
we're
are
seeing
representing
within the
underserved
industry,
communities, an
which is
opportunity
kind of supporting
to
more
dive in
younger
deeply into
audiences,
this
especially
gaming
young
industry, this
young
experience they all love
students
to
and those
do,
who are interested
and
in
help them
technology,
become
those who are interested
creators
in
of this content, not just
the
consumers.
gaming industry
And
and just
it's
kind
we've
of
been
technology
finding
as a
that the
whole to
program
kind
that
of
we've been running
inspire
called
them,
the Games for
especially you look
Change
at
Student
minorities and
Challenge, we've
stuff
been
like that,
running it for the
which is kind of a
past
good
six
thing because you've
years.
seen a lot of
We've
programs kind of
reached
show
over
up for
30,000
a lot of
young
minorities and stuff
people
like that
in middle
to
and
kind
high
of help
school. And we
push
not only
those
give them an
boundaries
opportunity to
forward,
learn
which is always a
how
good
to
thing to me.
make games, but we also combine that with civic engagement. So they have to think about how games can help make their communities better. So right from the start, we want to empower them to think about this really important medium, not only as something they love to do, but they actually can make. They're learning important 21st century and STEM skills that can help them regardless of what career path. But what we really hope to see happen is that they see a future for themselves and they see an
Interesting.
opportunity, a pathway for them. And part of our program, an important part of it, is this idea of mentoring and mentoring from near peers and also from people from the community. So, as Jim says, it's so important they see themselves in the people that are coming to speak to them. So, when we're in Los Angeles, for example, we can reach out to USC Games
Ah,
um,
yes, University of California
game design students
or
to come and
Southern
speak to the
California.
kids, that we can bring people in from Riot or Activision or from Take Two to come in and say, yes, this is what I do and this is something for you. And we do the same thing in New York and working in Atlanta and Detroit. And I can tell you that students are coming back year on year and we're seeing them use this program as like their college essay or they're building their portfolio. And I love the idea that, we can get to them at a young age. They spend their summers with Layla at Girls Make Games, and then they can go on and apply to college. And we were talking about this pipeline or this pathway for them. And so that's that role and what we hope to inspire.
I love what you said there, Suzanne. There's so many little nuggets that you just pulled out there. The different avenues you can have and career pathways there are in the gaming industry. Just the activity that you can have in terms of having mentorship and
Okay,
role
I kind
models
of
and
see where they're coming from
representation,
and
and
stuff like
just
that. So
having
there's
these
nothing
good
wrong with that.
gamers out there. So there's so many things that you talked about that I want to hit on. Let's just pull Layla into this conversation and just talk about the idea of mentorship and representation. Layla, talk about the workshops and the summer programs that you offer to girls. How does that help to increase the representation and the mentorship aspects that we've talked about?
Thanks so much for having me. I was on mute. This is 2021, still going
No
on mute.
worries.
But like Susanna said, I think it's really important to kind of pass that baton on. And I think we see this summer after summer having created a
Yeah.
place that's, for girls. We get this question a lot. Why do you need a space that's just for girls? There's so many programs
Is
out
anyone
there
else
that are
having
open to
issues on
everyone.
Twitch?
But I think it's just so
Because it
important to
seems that
create
Akuma
that
was having a
space
bit of
because,
troubles.
like Jim talked about, it's so important to see people who are like yourselves.
Strike
For
for
many of
stopping
the
that.
girls that come to camp, this is their first time walking into a room full of girls who love video games. They've
Woo!
been
Video
so
games.
accustomed to kind of being the only girl on their robotics team or the only girl that went to a coding camp with their brother and the girl who's fighting her brothers for the Xbox controller. So those are very common themes and stories, and I think it's important to kind of tie
You
in
know what's
not
funny
just the
is that
mentorship but also the community. It's very important to
interesting
walk into a room
is
and
that
feel
they're
like you're
talking
not an
about
outsider. And the best way to do that is to show
kind of
many
being
more
able to
faces that look
appeal
just like
to
you.
multiple people and
It's
stuff like
really
that, right?
validating to walk away not
And
just with the technical
especially to
skills, but to
girls and
feel
stuff
like
like that, right?
these
And
are
I think
people
that's
that are
great
gonna,
because
kind of encounter
one of the
in
things that
camp
I'm
to
very
use and
supportive
be
of
like
is like the
professionals, because right now we're
girls
just
who
kids
code,
making games, but we'll be
right? I
professionals
think
in a
that's
few
the program
years.
is girls who code,
And 7 years
and
out at
kind
Girls
of
Make
getting
Games, we're
reaching
finally
out
starting to
to
see
more especially
girls kind
women
of make plans
for the
together
tech
to go to
industry
college.
and stuff like
This
that. Is
year,
that
I would say, like, the first time we
funny
got
thing is
like,
that in high school,
dozens
I
of
actually was
emails
on the
from
robotics
families
team
saying,
for
my daughter is now
my
thinking of
school
college,
district.
and how do we get this
A little
portfolio
bit
going?
is that I actually did.
How do we set that up?
I was on
So
the
I think
robotics
picking
team
on Jim's
my
point
senior
too,
year. I
there's
had a
so
friend
many challenges
who
that,
said that he was in robotics, and he was
you
like,
have
you
to
know
go
what?
through just
He's
to
like,
get
you should
everything right.
come
You
to
shouldn't have
come
to
check it out. I was like,
rely on luck
really?
so much. So if you look at the
He's
women
like,
who are
yeah. He's
now
like, you should totally do it.
excelling and
He's like,
thriving in the
we
industry,
need more
asking
people on
their
the team. He's
stories,
like, and it seems like
so
something that
many
you're
things
interested in. I was like,
had to go right in their lives to finally end
okay,
up in the
sure.
industry.
So I went
Many
out
of them
there,
ended up
and kind of being on the
accidentally, like me,
robotics
and even
team
Tony.
was interesting.
I think Tony and I
Learning,
touched on that earlier. But it shouldn't have
working
to
with
be luck
with
or
the other
accident.
students who did all the
We can
coding
actually
and stuff like
intentionally
that.
create these pipelines. And I think
We
it
had
requires
help
all of us working together,
because we had
everyone in
access
this
to tools
room,
and stuff like that. So we
talking
actually would
about what we're
cut and
doing and how
machine
do we
the
pass
parts
our
for it,
students on
as
from,
well as we also
start
had
as young as
all the
8,
sponsor chaperones and stuff
getting
like
them
that
onto
from all the
programs
schools
and
that
then
would
passing them
oversee
on to the
everything, right?
STEAM challenge and then on to USC.
But I was
and
actually
then
a part of the
finally
team that
onto
mainly
the
did all the
industry.
wiring. So I
think
did
that
the
would be, that's
electrical
basically
engineering part of it.
magic
So I would
formula
help
to solving
cut
the problem that we're
wires,
talking about today.
solder,
Yes.
connect
Thank you for
everything,
hitting on
do the
that
tests to make sure
pipeline
that
challenge
that
and
they were
actually
reading
solution.
inputs and stuff
You
like
really
that,
clearly laid it
and
out
making
there
sure
for
that
us.
everything
I
was
really,
getting proper
really
power.
enjoy
So
that.
that was kind of
And something else
my
you
practice
mentioned
when
is
it came
just like
to
really
robotics.
opening
But I
this
did
world
I learned a
up
little bit of the
into
true
new,
false coding and
diverse,
stuff like that. But I mainly did a lot of the
cool,
electrical
cool
engineering.
and
So
a spectrum
that's a
of
little bit of my
gamers,
history
and
when it
how do
comes to
we create
robotics, and
those
we
real
definitely had a
pathways back
lot
into the
of
gaming industry?
of
Gordon, you've done a lot
girls
of work
on the
in
team
just helping
who did a
to
lot of work
create value
from
where
designing
value
and doing
was
the
not
engineering
seen
parts. A lot who
places
did
in
the
the gaming
coding. So
industry.
there's a lot of
Specifically for the gay
great
gaming
programs
professionals,
like that
can
are
you
coming
talk
out there. So I
about
really support it.
how the representation and
Oh no,
widening
Wala Kumu.
spectrum of
I am
what
feared.
gaming
I mean, I
professional
am in
looks
fear.
like and how your company
Ah!
and your role really accomplishes that?
Sure. So we have a mission which is focused on education, employment, expertise, and entrepreneurship. And the reason why is because alongside diversity and equity inclusion, there's a new word that's come up a lot, which is belonging. A feeling of belonging, of being default. And I know that people in their uniqueness do a lot of mental,
the Wilder Kumu ran away because she saw the master ball, huh?
And sometimes social gymnastics before they get to be as good
Does
as
she
they
know
are,
when she is beaten?
before they get a chance to participate in this panel or participate in our industry.
Oh, you're like
by
an
and large.
Abra, is that
And I
right?
think the work that we all share
I feel bad for the
is
people
trying to
who
disrupt
use the master
some
ball
of
on
those
Abra
mental
instead of saving it for the
gymnastics,
Mewtwo's.
socioeconomic gymnastics, social gymnastics that young women, people of color, indigenous people, neurodiverse people need to do in order to be as great as they are, to belong, in the space. And sort of hearing, speaking to a cohort, right, that treats each other.
Abra
as a
is
whole, and
indeed
where are
hard
we
to
gonna go
catch.
now together, collectively.
Yeah, I am, sis.
The program, Jim's putting in place.
It teleports so
Right,
fast,
with the
it's just
endowment,
GG's.
Honoring Lawson, where there's going to be cohorts of Black and indigenous people, right, growing together. And the work that Susanna, you've been doing since before it was cool. Okay.
Indeed,
You
a
were
lot of
changing
stuff going on.
games, making that dollar out of 15 cents before all of us. All of that work, and with the support of corporations like Take-Two, right, is enabling us to move a generation forward. Specifically with GGP, we have a scholars program in partnership with Take-Two. Some go to USC, many go on to participate in Games for Change, and many have been girls who made games. And that's where we
Girls who
find
make games,
ourselves intersecting, is at that college point of how do we take it towards professionalization, and then we hope to carry them through into employment, into being experts, right? Because that's the real challenge when you try to discover people. You don't want just to be entering, you want experts, right? And if things are going to really change, like this discussion, you need owners, right? Layla, owner. Susanna, owner. Jim, owner. All of you, owners of facets of your business. That is where we become the batter, not the frosting, right? Where the change is,
what?
do we
That
count? 2%,
isn't
3%,
the
1%. We aren't even the ones counting, right? We're still being counted, right? Until you're doing the counting, nothing has changed, right? I don't need to ask,
how many young ladies are in Girls Make
Okay.
Games? Like all of them, right?
Yeah,
What
I
is
mean,
the gender balance of Games for
okay.
Change? I didn't all of it, right? These sort of
You're not
systemic
feeling this?
changes,
I
and
mean,
that's
I
that is
understand.
the work I
There,
think we
there a
all
lot of
should. I think
the
it's why we
the
all
the
make time
showcases
today,
right now is
right?
yes,
I've
there's
been
been a
to
lot of
every
game
E3.
announcements, but there's
I
also a
was a
lot that are
booth boy
kind of
when I
addressing
started, and I'm still here.
programs
Right?
about
25,
diversity within the
26
gaming
years later, haven't
industry.
missed one yet.
And I think that's kind of what
So
Take Two is kind
I
of doing
hope
right
that
now,
someone out there
because right now
sees
we
this
have
and
representatives
begins
from
their path, right?
USC or
And this
University of
is
Southern
additive.
California talking
That's why
about their
we're
games
all
program to help
here.
minorities out there in
I
California,
appreciate
No Games
that.
for
Yes,
Change,
exactly what
people
you're
from
saying. There's so much more
um,
that all of us can
Girls
be
Who
doing.
Code.
The
That one looks like
accountability piece is really very
I
important,
don't know what
Gordon. Thank you for
GGQ is.
bringing that
Oh,
up.
gay gaming
I just want
professionals
to
and
lay
stuff like
this
that.
out there to
So
all our
there's a lot of
panelists.
different
What can
teams
corporations
that
do
are trying to
really
talk about
set
the
themselves
inclusion
up
and
for success
diversity
in the
needed
near
within
future
the
and
gaming industry,
grabbing this
because
new
there
talent,
has been
this talent
a
out there
lack
that we
of
need to
diversity,
capture
and
to help us
I think
build
they're just trying
better,
to say that,
more relevant,
until
engaging video games.
the real
What
change is
can
when you start seeing
corporations do?
people who are
So
at the
I
top
was thinking
who are
about
helping to make the
this in
change and stuff like that,
particular
and I get it.
as Gordon was
This
talking
isn't going
about
to
the
be for everyone,
scholarships
I'll say that, but
that
there
he
are
puts
other
forward.
events coming
So
after this that we're
having
looking at. But besides the Take
organizations,
Two
companies
Interactive right
like
here,
Take
which is
Two
focused, it seems to
have
be on this,
a
we are going to see
to be
the
visible to young
Indie
people,
Showcase
not just because
afterwards.
they're buying,
Mythical Games is
they're
after this,
downloading the
and then
games
later today
off
is going to
of
be Capcom. So there's going to
whatever,
be
off
quite a
of
bit of stuff
Xbox
that
or
we're going to be
PlayStation,
looking at throughout
but
the day.
because they're there in front from the beginning. And so Take Two has been part of our challenge since the beginning, offering scholarships to our grand prize winners. And I can tell you that that's
But I mean,
motivating
we've been covering
kids
everything
to
all week,
participate.
like
Not just
all
because it's a
weekend
scholarship
since
of the year, but just because
since
Take
Saturday.
Two
We've been
is
kind of
part of
covering
it.
all the
Like,
major
hey, that's cool,
showcases,
right?
especially
and I think
yesterday's.
it's that relationship at that young of an age that um, that makes a connection for people. Is like, yeah, they want to hear what I have to say, right? Like they're here.
But Ronan,
because
what
this
what have
program
you been kind of
exists,
interested
because
in
I'm
seeing
interested in doing
from
it.
A3
And
this
I
year?
think that kind
Did
of
you watch any of the
relationship with these
showcases from the
kids,
past weekend?
whether they're
What's
mentoring
been
or coming into a
kind of your
classroom,
highlights so far?
they're volunteering at a game jam or judging games at the end of the competition. They're involved, and I think that it really has an impact on young kids' lives.
Yes, I love that.
I just want to add to what Suzanne's saying. I think that
It's
and
one of
some
those
it, I mean,
things,
when you're
yep.
talking about Take Two, and thank you for having us, is making the success of Black people, of women, of queer people, of indigenous people, neurodiverse people, a business goal. Plain the same way that the consumption, right, of content, right, get some downloadable skins.
Like I said, this whole
buy some
showcase so
in-game
far, I
2K,
understand where they're
right?
coming from with it.
That's a business goal.
And I think that there
around which
does
the
need to
business
be a little
aligned.
bit more
And I feel as though
of
if
these kinds
the
of
expertise
showcases.
of women, Black
And
people,
when you're thinking about
neurodiverse,
E3, yeah, some people are going to
other
want it during E3,
was
but
a
I think this
business
is probably
goal,
one of the best signs
then
because of the
that
fact
would
that, or
be
the best
the
times because of the
change.
fact that this one
It'd
is
be that
when they're
simple.
able to get kind of
our
front
business
of
is more
everyone.
successful if there is more of this, right? And that's about people being of value versus just being valuable.
I'm not
Two
gonna lie, I'm
different
kind of
things.
laughing
There's
though
lots
at
of
the
exceptional people,
at the
right,
just
who are of
rotating
value in spite of their circumstances.
like
They're valuable,
PowerPoint
right? There's another person who's saying,
transition
"You're of
on
value,"
everyone's
and
tagline.
that's a business goal in itself. And I think
I don't
that's
know
the
why it's
corporate-
doing it,
that's
but
the
I kind of laugh
the
at
real
it.
change, because it used to be, I mean, just real talk. It used to be about exceptionalism, right? And be like, oh, you're able to thrive under this duress, right? Isn't that cool? Versus, right, you are actually who we are, so we are going to cultivate you. That's who we are year round. That's what we look like, what we sound like, right? Who we are.
It's one of those things I
Right, and
get
so-
where you're coming from.
As the lever moves more towards that, right? The same way, like, I have biases. I attended Harvard College, so I'm of value, right? There's value in that, right? I'm treated that way in some circles. If
Okay.
the same lens was put onto women, onto brown people, Black people, queer people, then there'd be no, as the kids say, no cap on the change that could take place.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
It
And
said
that
no
just
cap,
speaks to
huh?
being deliberate with our diversity, inclusion, equity practices. Corporations really have to take that accountability and, like you said, do what's right in that spectrum, in that
Yeah,
conversation,
it's gonna be one
looking
of
at
those
value
kinds of
from
shows,
different
huh?
sources and kind of recalibrating our minds to that. But like you guys have said, it
It's one of those
takes
things.
time. It takes starting earlier in the pipeline.
Yep.
I love that you just call that out. What other things can corporations do that are just
I'll say
different, different
not
than what
every
they've been
show is
doing
gonna
in
be
the
big,
past,
right? Not every
perhaps?
show is gonna
What
be
would you
kind of what we
recommend?
saw
I would
yesterday.
even add to what Gordon just said. The looking at this challenge as a
Like the only
business
thing that I
challenge
wish they would have done is
is
explain
key.
more
That's
about what
what
this showcase was gonna
between the
be instead of just
inspiration
saying
of
that it's gonna be
the
their
social
showcase.
justice marches from last summer, and really talking to our chair Danny Bilson, who
Like
said
it
that,
would be
hey,
different
we're
if
going
they
to
said, hey,
tackle
you know,
this
this
issue,
schedule or
giant
this panel is
generational
gonna
issue,
be
as a business problem. What would you do? And
about, you
that
know,
flipped the light
inclusion.
switch on for me. Well, of course, like any business problem, what are my challenges? I've got gaps in my supply chain, if you will. So how do I fill those gaps in my supply chain? And really working your way backwards in a way where you're putting objectives, strategies, and tactics in place to achieve those goals from a business perspective, you're going to see outcome when it's not just, hey, here's a check and good luck with charity X. It's going to be more of, okay, here's a check. This is what
But
we're
that's
hoping
just
to
one of
see.
those
Let's
things,
measure
unfortunately.
along the way and see if we're seeing progress on that. And it's the measurement of progress and adjusting in real time based on the data that you're getting back. That's where you're going to meet. That's where you're going to see the gap start to close in a meaningful way, and be able to point out to other people in the industry, like, hey, this is what we can all do together. What if we scale this effort up and really had an impact on
Hmm.
society as a whole? That mindset
But Becky,
is
have
really
you
going
had
to
a
be what
chance to
changes
catch
the
up
game.
on everything
So
that has come out so
I
far
like to think
in
about
the
it
past
as
few
like a
days?
pie. You know, when we think about
Kuri,
like
I already know
from
you're
a
on top
corporate
of
strategy, you
everything
always
because
think
we've been
about
talking about
there's a piece
everything
of the
so
pie and
far
everyone gets
this
a little
week, and
piece
you
of the
saw that we've
pie.
been all over
But I
it.
think
Uh,
the way we
for
have to
those who don't
approach
know,
this is really
me and Akuma went.
pie is
What was
not
it
a
that
fixed
we were for
size. I think
yesterday,
by
my dear?
including more
Almost eight
people, the
hours.
pie gets bigger. So it's
Basically
not a
from
fixed size that
11
we're trying to all get a
in the
piece of,
morning all the way
but
to
by
7 at
including
night,
more
covering
people,
every major
you know, in the
event. Because
industry who by the
Sunday,
creators
Sunday of
this
all days
medium,
was the
we
pack
actually
day.
expand the
Because that's when we
medium,
had
expand
Xbox,
it beyond
Bethesda,
just
we
entertainment.
had
And I think that speaks
Square
really
Enix, we
heavily to me
had
as a
the
problem solver. Is like
PC
when I
Gaming
look at video
show, then we
games,
had the
it's such an
Future of Gaming show,
underutilized
then we
tool
had
for
the
social
Blade Point
change. And I
Naraka
think
like
like that
pre-show and
Princess Susanna kind
everything.
of has been on the forefront of
Saturday
that.
was
And
kind of like super hella
coming
light.
in as an outsider to the games industry, I was just kind of blown away that, oh my God, you can do so much. Like 9 out of 10 kids play video games. You know, not 9 out of 10 boys, 9 out of 10
I
kids. We're
that's what I
talking
kind
about
of agree with
literally
Kuti
changing
is, again,
perceptions and
we
inspiring
we
and
here,
educating
everyone in our community knows that
generation
we're
after
absolutely
generation.
diverse. We
And
believe in
yet that
diversity
power rests in
and
the
everything
hand
like that.
of like a select
And I'm
few.
very big about
And I
wanting
think
to
when you
support
think
more
about it,
people who
not
go
just
into the
from a
tech
corporate
industry.
responsibility, but as a
But
social
I get why these
responsibility, like, what
why
are
they're
we
doing the
putting out
panel
there for our kids
here
to
at E3,
consume? I think we
because
need to
it's
bring
just in
pretty
front
much
of everyone's
everyone,
eyes and
anyone
it's
and
on the
everyone
official
who's
schedule and
interested
one of
in
those things,
building a
right?
future together.
And you
in
think
that.
about
So
E3 is
between the
that there's a
pie
lot
and
of
the corporate
stuff, a lot of
responsibility, I
those
feel like
panels
there's
and
a
stuff like
lot
that.
that
Some of them
that gets
aren't going to
lost.
be on the
Like I
big
think there's a
stages and
big
everything.
dichotomy between
And
these are
obviously
people
they're
that are
not going to be
doing
the ones
good
that are
and
always
these are
covered.
people
They're
that
the
are
ones that are talked about and stuff like
self-serving,
that.
but it doesn't work like
So I
that.
get why
We
they're
have to
doing this
work
panel.
together, and
But at the
everyone
same
does
time,
kind
I
of
kind of
go
agree that this is more
between
something that should be
what's good
focused
for
on
me and what's good
GDC
for
at the
everyone.
Game
You know,
Developers
so
Conference. And
Thank
that's the
you for
factor
bringing
that
that concept
I
up,
absolutely
Layla. The
support
codependency. We are
the
all
inclusivity,
community members
um,
in this pipeline, and we have to be
supporting, you know,
active,
diversity
deliberate in our
from
processes, in our
both
systems, how we tackle this
supporting more
problem.
women, supporting more
Before we end
POCs,
this
queers,
conversation, there's tons of
indigenous, all that kind of
questions
stuff,
that we have that we
neurodiverse,
want to
all that
ask you. So I'm
in
going to
technology.
pause
But it's
right
still
now
one
and
of those
give
things that I
our
understand why they're doing
esteemed
it, but I agree that
questionnaires
this is
a
more of a
chance to
developer style
ask their
conference.
questions that are top
But
of
I
mind
understand that
related
they're
to our
using the
conversation
people from
today.
each of the programs to help kind of push it, right?
So we're going to start it off with some questions from our other video game industry experts.
I think they're more
here.
trying to
We've got
focus about
Carrie, she's an executive producer from Private
about
Division.
trying to talk
We
about
also
saying,
have
hey, you know,
Vanetta,
this is
who's
what
a
our goals
director of
are
talent
as
acquisition with Take-Two,
with everything.
and Nir, he's the head of mobile for Take-Two. So go ahead and fire it away.
Awesome. Thank you, Tony. The first question is for Layla, but certainly open to having the rest of our panelists answer the question.
Okay, yeah.
But at the beginning,
Yeah, consumers aren't
your
going to really
career,
understand a lot
did
of
you
this information
ever
or really going to get
imagine
it,
being a
because
leader
the only thing is
within
that they want to
an
do is that they're going to
industry that
support
is
these programs, right?
predominantly male-dominated?
For like I
And
said,
what
girls
is
who
your
code and girls can
advice
game, they're
for
going to want to
other
support,
young
and more
women
people should
that
be
are
out there
interested
supporting
in
and being
taking a
active about
similar
saying, hey,
path to where you
Girls
are
who are
today?
interested in video games, girls who are interested in STEM programs, absolutely
Thank
look at
you,
getting into the
Juanita.
tech industry.
I I don't think I
more
really
looking at
envisioned
focusing
being
on
in a
helping to
male-dominated
promote people
industry, although
of
I did
color
envision
wanting to
being
go
in a
after
male-dominated world
stuff
because
in the
I grew
tech
up in the
industry.
Middle East and I was painfully
Turn
aware
my
of the
volume up. What do you
world,
mean turn my volume up?
and how my life was going to turn out to be
Or do you
different
mean
from
the
my
panel's
male
volume
peers
or
or
the
my brothers or my
video?
cousins or any of that. I was fortunate that my
What's going
parents were
on,
very
Lemon?
supportive and they wanted
What's
me
going
to
on, brother?
pursue whatever dream I wanted.
Okay, Becky,
But I
trust me,
think
we got you covered
having
with
that
everything that we've done
mindset and
so
coming from
far.
a world that was very much male
Thank you, Cody, for
dominated
getting that.
already prepared me for, hey, whatever I end up doing, there's going to be more
But
boys or
like I was
men
saying, Cody, this is
than
one of
me.
those
I
panels
think the piece of advice that I
and
would
things
really
that
give
they wanted
girls
to
is
talk
to
about because they have
honestly
everyone.
not think about your gender when you think about what you want to pursue, because
Okay,
it's
is that
all about
better? I
you
mean, like I'm
specifically.
yelling at my
You
mic.
might end
It's
up
literally
liking
right here.
things that people, even your age, your geographic location, your educational background, or your family might not have heard of or even thought of. And that is all the things that I ended
All
up
right.
doing were things that didn't match anything that I had seen in my own
Ha
environment,
ha,
but I just kind of
Akuma.
pursued what I wanted to. And then two is to kind of use a very selective hearing.
He's
I
like, you
think you
need
have
to
to kind
let.
of
He's like,
develop
you need to yell
selective hearing.
louder.
Listen to the
Like,
people
bust those
that care about
eardrums.
you, that love you, and encourage you in being more of who you are, and diminish the voices of people who say you can't do things because it's never
But
been
yo,
done,
Lemon,
or
I
that's
didn't
not
get to
how it
tell
is,
you
or
earlier. What'd you
that's not
think
how
about the showcase
world
yesterday?
works.
Was it
The way the
fire
world
or
works
was it
is
fire?
based on the world that we build, and we're continually building a new world. So it doesn't matter how things are done now; they're going to be done a different way
You
as
should
you
have
grow
had.
up, and you can be part of building
She's
that.
right there.
So those would be like my two pieces of advice.
She's
for
literally on the
girls,
other
is to
side.
just pursue what you want and develop selective.
Me and her have been
hearing.
streaming this whole weekend
All
together.
right. My question is for Susanna, but also open to anyone else who would like to answer. And I think Gordon kind of hit it earlier when he said that most of us didn't have a lot of examples or opportunities.
Yeah,
I
Cody's
was
right.
in
You
that
missed
boat.
it.
I didn't have any
And
programs,
MM.
and anyone
Wow.
told me that I could do this. And
Wow, I'm just
definitely had
stunned.
to,
Xbox did great. Yeah, they did
not
great.
necessarily
They
an
really did
accident, but we
amazing
really had to work,
today. Yeah.
in a different way, harder than most. So
I would say
so,
they did
my question,
absolutely
Susanna, for you is,
amazing. I was like,
can
they
you share an
came out
example of
hard
how your program
from the
has
jump.
impacted someone that has
They didn't
participated
hold
or,
back.
a few people.
They used the industry's
Sure.
biggest kept secret
So,
because no one
Susanna,
knew what
our
the hell
program is 6
Starfield
years
was,
old in
and they
New
put
York
it
City.
front,
We're a
row,
bit
and
younger
center
in the other
on their
cities that are
stage, and then
operating
from
in.
just there, it was
there
just
are
nonstop.
opportunities now that kids all over the country can participate. But we saw in New York a very particularly strong cohort. We're actually in over 125 schools right now in New York City, and there are some
I know Akuma's great,
rockstar teachers,
but right now
that have
she's resting
encouraged
up
their
because
kids to
she's been
participate. They participate
getting absolutely
year on year and year. And that to
worn
me
out over the
is
past
certainly
weekend
the
because we've been
beginning
going.
of getting,
Yesterday we were live
this
for
kind of
almost 8 hours all
program
day
off the
from
ground,
11
and
to
particularly
7.
in schools where students usually aren't offered this kind of experience.
See,
So
there
one,
she is.
having the teachers find value.
I missed his
and
impressions
really,
last night.
And
Yeah, I'll
work
be
to,
on later, Lemon.
and making it a part of an annual program.
See,
within their
Jason,
school
that's
system
what I'm
has
saying is
also
that this
allowed
this
students to
panel is more
continue with the
focused. It
program
should have been
year on
more
year.
centered around
There's
GDC.
one,
And
young
and the
woman in
thing about
particular
it
who
is
won,
that
I think she
I
won
get why they're
the,
doing this panel.
like our theme
Again,
category
I
the
understand
first
the
time
aspect
around,
of and
when she
like
participated as a
inclusivity
sophomore.
and wanting
The
to
junior,
reach out to more
her
people. Like I
junior
said,
year,
I was
she
like,
won
but the thing
again,
is
and by
that
the
this
senior
panel
year,
is
she was a
going
grand
even
prize
at
winner in New York
at
City.
E3 when we were
And I
there.
hear that
Me, One Away
she then
Dragons,
followed
and all of
on
us when
with
we were
a
there
full
live in person.
scholarship to
This is
NYU
one of the
Game
panels
Center.
that would have
Right,
been
and it was
more
just
focused on
amazing.
devs
And I
and
just
stuff like that,
remember
as
she was
well as
invited
people in the
to speak
industry
at the Games for
and
Change
stuff like that. This is
Festival
one of the
after she
panels that a
won,
lot of
it must have
the
been the second year. I don't think it was the third
consumers.
year. And she came, and we were having
No.
a panel, a conversation about the program, and she was invited to speak on it, and her father came with her and followed her around the entire 2 days she was there with a camera recording her experience in this professional environment, not only when she was speaking but when she was sitting
It
and
needs,
watching
yeah, it
other
needs to
people
be
on
said.
stage.
Don't get me wrong,
And
it
it was
needs to be
so
said. But
awesome
I'm
to
saying
see
that
that kind of
for
support
most of the
within her
consumers, that
family.
it's going to be a
I'm like,
panel
all
that
right,
they're
we've
not
got
going to actively
educators supporting this
pay
young woman,
attention to.
this
The
pathway.
reason
She's
that
got
we
her
talk about it is
family,
because of the fact that
and actually, since
we
she
are
graduated, I've
the
seen
people
other
that they're
kids in her
talking about. We're
family come through
POCs.
the
You know,
program, but it takes that
I'm
kind of
Native American descent. I'm
multiple
indigenous
support from
descent.
different directions to really
108. You know,
support this young woman who's
you're
a
from the
woman of
Black
Taylor
community
from,
there. I was like, you know what it's
Brooklyn,
like for being involved in
who,
technology and kind
found
of
her path, right?
what
And
they're
she
trying to
got the
reach out
right
for. We
supports,
have a
and
very
she
diverse
got there.
community here.
Now,
I was like,
I also understand
understanding
that she's
for
launched
those
her
who
own
are in the
studio
queer
and is
community,
raising
for those
money,
who are
on
uh,
Kickstarter.
neurodiverse like I am and stuff like that. It's one of
That's
those things
awesome.
that I
Thanks for
understand where
sharing
they're
that
coming
story.
from.
That's so
But the
cool.
fact is that
Mir, do you
most
have a question
consumers are
for
not
our
going to pay
panelists?
attention to this talk, and that's
Yeah,
the
hi.
unfortunate part of it,
So
and
my
that's what's going to
question
make
is
it harder
to
to reach
Gordon.
out to those people.
Um,
So that's
looking
kind
at
of where it comes down to
LGBTQ
of
representation
of
in gaming.
what
I've been
this
in gaming for
panel is trying to reach out
more
for.
than 12 years, and
After this, I know that they have
feels
Mythical
to
Games,
me
Jason,
that
so that will be next.
representation
Um,
is a bit lower
but yes,
than what
going
you'd
back to
expect,
what
what
you
I see
said,
in tech in other
Lemon,
sectors. Do
Microsoft
you
did
have
show
some
out.
data
They
or
did a
some
great job, and they
thoughts
proved
about
then and
what
there
is
that they're not
that
holding
first
back,
mission?
and they're
And if so,
absolutely here to
why
play
is that, and
hardball
what are the
in the
main
best way
challenges
possible.
that LGBTQ individuals
Yeah,
face in this
I'm
industry?
excited for Battlefield 2042.
Sure.
I've never
I'll tell you a
been
little
big into
history here.
Battlefield,
So,
but the Battlefield
when we
showcase
started
absolutely caught me off
GBP
guard and
about
has me
15
actually looking
years
forward to
ago,
wanting to
which is
play
not
that.
that long ago in
So,
corporate
you know,
times,
I'm going to be doing a lot of stuff with that.
queer people only existed on an anonymous mailing list, anonymous to each other.
That's
Okay, because employment safety, which is still a concern globally.
Yeah, I'll be on in a bit.
Not to mention just
Yeah,
safety,
there's
safety
yeah,
was
Kuma's
a
gonna be on in a
number
bit.
one concern
Easiest
which
way for this
all
type
of
of
us
thing to
lived
appeal
with.
to consumers.
You know,
Offer some
even
games to
I
buy.
and I, you know, back then, you know, we're
Exactly.
flex,
We're
but
the
I
people that they're
designed
trying to
Madden football,
be
had
to
already
that they're
sold
trying
the
to
company
speak about, Lemon. And
Activision.
you make a great point. Like I
Employment
said,
safety.
we're the
So,
people that they want to help
that is
make
the
it and
number
get in
one
front
reason
of the tech industry.
why.
It's
And
one of those
just
things
in
that's just
this
really
new
hard
recent
to do.
history
But the fact is
have
that they're
we
making
begun
these
to
programs, they're
build
doing
the
these kinds of things to
trust
help do
and
it. Like you look at a
value
lot
in
of
each other so
the
as to
programs for
aggregate
girls and women
and
with
to even
girls who
acknowledge each other.
Girls Who
Okay?
Code,
And to build
you know,
systemic,
Girls Who Game, and
ties
those
to
kinds of
companies
programs and
like
stuff like that,
Take
helping to kind
Two,
of push those programs.
and
And of course,
others,
you see that a lot of universities are making gaming programs, especially those for lower
hiding
income
from the
areas. You look at
industry,
like
right?
University of Southern
Escaping from the
California.
industry,
You know,
to
big spots to hit up
affinity,
is Atlanta.
right? Like,
Texas is now
right?
becoming a
To
hot spot. You know,
employee
obviously
resource
New
groups
York and all the stuff out
corporate
there.
leaders like
So
Tony
it's one of those things.
existing, right? And we're moving closer to being a business resource. And so in other technology areas, that path is further along.
You're not wrong. It is very much
It
a lot of
is, as I like
bias
to
within
say,
the
in
industry.
pattern
That makes it really hard.
that queer identity is of value, and there's customers, there's of course
But it is
creators,
one of those
there's,
things.
of course, business leaders and owners, you know, of all walks, and in the optimum business, you would cultivate, you know, all types of people. As a game craft, we are still in generation one. You even asking this question here, you are a wild pioneer. You are the out there with your machete chopping down bamboo to even ask this question. Which
Thank you, Twinkie
presumes
Juice. I was
that
like, I
other
try to
people
be
would
because the fact
employed,
that the thing about it is that
okay, and then
I'm
in
from this
communication with each
community,
other,
right?
right?
I get
In
it.
communication with each other
And
across
like I
different
said, is that
companies,
I understand that this isn't
and
going
any
to
sort of
appeal
ongoing
to
concern.
everyone. It's
So,
not going to appeal to a lot
welcome.
of
Thank you for
consumers.
asking. For those
The
of you
thing
at
is,
home, we have
I
a
come
Discord
from
and a
what
Facebook
the
that you can
for
all
who they're
join
trying
and
to speak out for,
participate,
who they're trying to support.
at any
I am
time.
very
You can
open
reach out
about
to
the
me
fact that
directly
I
on
am
Twitter,
Native
Gordon Bone.
American. My descent comes
Wherever
from
you may be on
a
or
lot
off
of the
your
First
path
Nation tribes.
as an
I also have
LGBTQIA
Spanish
person or an
ancestry.
ally.
I was like, my partner here,
Right? Because
she's
I think that's something we've
Hispanic
all
and she's
discovered,
black.
and I
Everyone in
think,
our community is very much a
whatever
mix. As you
population
see,
you're
One
a
Away
part
Dragons
of,
is
whether it be
open
across
about
gender
his
or
his
race
Puerto Rican and black
or
heritage and stuff like
expression
that.
identity,
We're
is that
very
you don't have to be a member
diverse
to
in
care.
where our cultures
Okay?
come
You
from.
don't got to be a member.
But
to
we're
say,
the people
"This is
who
an
aren't
important
always
issue."
put
And in fact,
in front
a
of
lot
everyone
the
when
work
it
that we
comes to
do at a
technology.
corporate level
I was about to say,
is
I've been
saying,
building
"Hey,
computers
you don't
for
have to
a
do
while, and
all
I've
the
been
work,
all about video games since
right?
I was young.
You know how to push the rock that
One Away
city
Dragons
on you.
TV was probably one of the
We're
first
gonna help
people
you push
that
rock.
that taught me
It's
about a
on
lot
you.
of
It's not
technology
on
that
me.
I didn't
I
know
gotta
about.
push,
But he talked about
right? 'Cause I
his
can
history
see it.
growing up with it.
It's
We're
on
the
you.
people that they want to help
And
put
so,
forward in front of all that.
Asking these questions.
Women obviously have it the worst when it comes
corporate
to breaking down
support,
technology. They don't get the
time,
recognition that
right?
they do
Three
for a
Ts,
lot.
Time, talent, and treasure.
And the fact is, you also look at how the queer community is very much
otherwise, just get at me.
Still
I can
absolutely
more. And anyone out there who's watching,
disrespected, not given enough respect within
Gordon,
the technology industry and how that's been making changes. You see a lot of these big content creators and stuff like that who are using their platforms, who are from these different backgrounds, to help
most
push
of our
that positivity
content
forward, and
now,
that's what
in addition to
we
our
do here.
scholars
That's what
program
we're trying
and
to do.
our
Like we
community
said,
service that we do with Take Two,
this
is
com-
streaming.
this
So we
panel is
stream
something that
front
you would
page
see
to
more at
Twitch, and we bring it
GDC,
to
right?
YouTube.
As well as it's going to
Content
be
around
something that you would
equity,
see
inclusion,
more
belonging.
at a lot of
And
those like
not just
Gamescom
LGBT,
as well, because that's a
we
lot
just had
more
our
focused
second,
on technology, not
Indigenous
necessarily
Game
just
Creators
gaming.
panel
But the
yesterday.
fact is,
Big
it's
hit,
still
because
something
you know
that
what?
needs to be
Indigenous
shown
creation
because it
has
is
always
showing
been
that there
here.
is a push
Always
within the
been here.
industry because you have companies like
In
Take-Two, you
August,
have
we're gonna
companies
be
like
doing our first GDP honors, which is gonna be
Microsoft and
honoring the
Xbox,
best
and you have a
in
lot of
diversity,
others
equity,
that are
inclusion,
trying
and
to push
belonging
for that
in our craft.
inclusivity
So we're gonna be
and
lifting up the
diversity
people who
within
do the work,
technology.
right? Every day in our ERGs.
Yeah, Flamus told
in
me
our executive
Take-Two
suites,
wasn't
like
showing no
Dr.
games.
Megan's
It's not a
right.
good watch.
These people
I told him that there's
need
more
to be
important. Yeah, exactly.
cultivated
It is
as
more.
well,
Don't get me
right?
wrong.
The same
We're
way we
gaming
cultivate
fans. We
engineers,
want to talk about
artists,
games. This
and
is supposed to be a
other
big
things
time.
that
But the
we
fact is,
value,
some of these panels are
Things that we
important for
value
the
need to
message
be
and what they're
cultivated.
trying
So
to
we're gonna
convey.
begin to do that
Not
work
everyone is going to be
August.
happy with
Tune
them,
in, front page
and
of
that's
Twitch.
fine. If it's
It's going
not
to
for
be a
you,
mood.
if you don't like it,
Hope
that's
you're all
fine.
there.
You don't have to. But the
Awesome.
fact is,
Thank
there's
you.
an important reason for
probably have
some
time
of
for
these
one more
conversations to be had.
question, so
Because if they're
let's
not being
go
had,
for it.
then there's
Who's
not
got
going to
their
be
last
any
burning question
push
for our
for these
panelists?
changes. You know,
Oh,
and one of the things that I say is that look about
questions.
how much the
Good
push
burn.
for accessibility
One,
has changed in the past decade within gaming, from understanding for more than just subtitles and closed captioning in games. You look at now the changing of colors for those who have different levels of color blindness. You know, there's so many different types, and we see that there's a lot more accessibility for that. We have changing sizes for text, UI changes, being able to make changes to movement and smaller things, and now we see a lot more pushes for being able to manually change little things about difficulty. Not everything is just going to be easy, medium, hard. I was like, some people may not like certain levels of hardness in one thing and easier in others, and I
Also,
like
I mean,
that.
to add
And
to
look
that, I
at
think
the accessibility program that
something
Microsoft
we-
has started,
a few of us have
from
touched
what
on
they did with
earlier
the
an old adage
the
from
accessibility
the business
controller
world, you can't
and
know
how
what you
that's
can't
been
measure.
making
If you
massive
don't
waves
have
in
a way
supporting
to see
people
how your
who
progress
have
is
disabilities,
evolving over a
from those who
continuum,
can't
you kinda
even,
just go,
who
well, I think
have
something's
who are
working. Let's keep doing
paraplegic,
that. And,
quadriplegic, and
business
many other
people,
forms
being
of
myself, being one of them, don't respond
disabilities,
well to that. It's
giving
just
them the
that,
ability
okay,
to
let's
play
just keep
games because of
investing in a
what
thing
people
that
are
I
able
don't
to
know
do
the
with that.
results of.
That
You need to be able to
shows
go back and
what
say, hey,
this
this year we were here,
push is
this
capable of
following
doing.
year we were here. Here's the, not only have we seen a positive impact on the investment or good ROI, but we also recognize the fact that the
Exactly,
partners
Twingy.
that we're working
I was like,
with
we all want
are
to see games.
making
We're all
moves and
gamers.
making investments
And
into
yesterday
the
was
future
probably
they're
one of
saying
the
that they want.
biggest showcases that we
The
had
positive
for
feedback
games
loop
in
of being
quite
able
some
to say,
time,
here's data that shows
especially
that
with
what
what
we're doing
we
is having
saw
an
from
impact on
a
our
lot of the
objectives,
big names in the
and
industry.
rewarding that
But
partner
the
or those
fact is,
partners
like,
for that investment,
I'm
that
supportive
support.
of this
That's
because
really
of the
key
fact that,
to
like I said,
building a
I'm a part
positive
of these
feedback
communities.
loop
My
around
partner is a part of these
investing in
communities.
diversity, equity,
Everyone
inclusion.
in our community here, from
Yeah,
Cootie
what Jim said,
and
but I still say make it mobile.
Becky, a lot of
Now,
us
if you can
come
move
from
that
a lot
needle
of
like
these
0.2%,
communities that they're
anything,
trying to
you
reach
can't
out
get
for.
cut.
And if
You
there's
can't get
resources
cut
for
then,
those who want
right?
to
There's
get
no
out
way,
into the tech
no big
industry
budget's
by
tight
utilizing
when
these
you're moving that
resources,
needle 0.2%,
absolutely take advantage of it.
right?
If you are
Yeah,
someone
scale
who
in
comes
which
from
we all
some of these
operate at,
neighborhoods
it's
where
pretty
you
staggering
don't
when you
have the
think about it,
best
when you
access
aggregate how much,
not
revenue
to
and profitability
college
and
or
gross
other
profit within
resources
games
like that,
business
there's communities like
for
they're
the
shown right here
a
with USC
meaningful
that they have a
moving of the needle
program
of
for
DEI
gaming for those who want to
comparatively
get into
speaking, it's
tech,
not a huge
and
amount of
that's to
money.
help those who
It's,
want to get
to have
into
a
that
really
technology
big,
or into
demonstrable
that
impact,
industry
measurable impact.
and helping to
If
reach
we
out to that.
aggregate our
You know, they
dollars
say
and
that they
really
want to reach
focus
out
on
to
some
other
key
places
objectives, we can really
within
move the needle in a
Atlanta,
way
New
that's
York,
frankly, when you
Texas.
start
You look
seeing
at
things work,
Austin and
people
Dallas
get
have become
excited.
hotbeds
It
for
worked. Let's keep doing it. Let's keep doing it.
people in
And
the
it
tech
gets bigger
industry
and
for
bigger and
big
bigger, and that's
for
why
big
the
places.
Lawson
Obviously,
Fund is what it
Washington
is.
with
It's an endowment
Seattle
because
and
we wanna
Redmond and that
see,
whole area. I
have an
love what
impact
they're
in the
trying to
aggregate
do
over
here
time, over
and what they're
generations,
trying to
and
push for.
support
And I
students
think
for
that this is a
decades to come,
conversation that needs to
not just have it
continue
be
year
this
round.
fiscal year
It's
looking
something that needs to be continuously shown. Yes, we want games, but the fact is we also need to push for those who want to help make those games.
Right? Let's
And I
get
think
back
we're
to
definitely starting to see
Black
a
is
massive
Beautiful. We've been
change
writing
in
Black
that
Lives Matter
aspect
for a long
from
time, and we need to be
everyone.
back to like Black and Proud.
But that's
And
just
Black
that's
is
just my
beautiful.
thoughts on it,
And
right?
so
I was
your
like, I'm more
existence,
passionate about this because of the
right,
fact that, you
and
know,
saying
this
it
is
and
something
saying
that I want
positive
to do. I've been
outcomes
wanting
after
to
the
break
word
out
Black
into the tech industry for a long time.
is
It's where my
meaningful
passion is.
each and every
I
day
don't
that you
love
can do
just
it in your
entertaining you
career.
guys by streaming and being
love that.
stupid in
Thank
front of a
you.
camera, you know, 8 hours a day.
Question.
I was like, even though I
We've
love
got
doing
time
that
for
as it
more.
is,
What else do
the
we
other
got?
aspect is that I do want to help be in this
All right,
industry and
I'll
helping
go
to
if you have
drive that
time for
change
more.
to reach more people. You know, especially
Layla,
as
come
someone
people
of
like,
indigenous descent,
actually
you
connect
know,
with the people
they're
in the
the ones who
community,
definitely have it harder.
to
Women
bring
have
awareness
it
for your
hard.
programs?
I was
How
like,
do you actually gather
people of color,
you know,
blacks,
to participate,
Hispanics,
especially like in
all
the
of
very
them
beginning?
have it hard getting enough
Oh my
recognition
gosh!
to break it
So
out.
the
And I
first
think
camp in
that this is something
2014,
that
we
is
literally
absolutely
like barged
a
into a
great
maker
conversation
fair
to be
with
had
flyers.
going forward.
We're just going around and
Hey,
being like,
Fastback.
you
How's it
look
going,
like
man?
you would love video games because you're playing with robots right now. So come to our camp. But I think it's pretty much
I think
primarily
a
been
little
word of
history
mouth
about me, as I was
originally,
telling
but
people
then
earlier,
when we ended
is
up
that
partnering
they
with
don't
the game
know,
studios
is
and
that
game
I
companies, that
studied,
really helped
I was in my,
elevate, the program
when
and
I was in high
PR.
school,
I think Susanna touched on that.
my
It's like it actually
school district
legitimized us
had
and
a
then kind of made us really
robotics
cool.
team.
Like, hey,
We
you
had
can go make games
a club for
at,
robotics
you know,
for
these game
everyone,
studios. You can
and that was
make a
actually what
game
really
at
started getting me
Xbox,
back
to
into
PlayStation,
computers, because I
Nintendo,
always grew up
Take-Two.
around gaming.
You
I
can
always
go into their
grew up
offices
kind of
and
around
meet the
computers,
developers and
but
make
it was
these
when I
games.
actually
And I
started
think
working
that
on that
cool
I
factor
really
has kind of
started
really helped us
appreciating
out.
the kind of work
When
that
it
goes
comes
into
to
building technology.
speakers and
I had a
people
big
who want to
fascination
mentor
with
and be
electrical
involved, that's
wiring
been a
and
lot
engineering,
easier
so I studied a
because,
lot of that.
you know, a lot of our teachers end up being college students themselves, and they come back and they
So
say
this
things like,
this is
"I
just
wish
one
this
of those
program existed
conversations
when I
that
was
needs to
younger."
be had.
It sucks
You
I
know,
couldn't go
it
to
is
it, but at
something
least I get to be a part
that
of it
is
and
great
give back
for
to the
those
kids. And then
who
same thing
want
for
to know
mentors and
about what
speakers.
the industry is doing to
There's so much
support
interest in
the
wanting to give
community
back
at
and wanting
large,
to
and
welcome
especially
new
those who are
voices into the
from
industry. We just
these
haven't
others to
we
help
haven't
being
really had to
included.
do a lot of pushing. You know, in fact, we get pulled in a lot of directions. I was talking to my team the other day. I was like, this is a very fortunate problem to have, where we're getting pulled in 100 directions because we're needed in 100 directions.
And
as
Candace,
opposed
that's
to
fine.
us
I was like,
telling
I was
people that,
saying
hey, this is
earlier
important, pay attention,
that
and,
this
you know,
panel
look at
is
what
not
we're
going to
doing.
be
So,
interesting for everyone.
yeah, I would
but
say
it's
been
one
very
that does need to
organic
happen.
and really
I was
the
like,
tide is
understanding
turning.
what
You
a
know,
lot
we're
of
building a new industry.
inclusivity
We're
needs to be
building
happening.
on the industry that we have, but we're also
It
building
is
a
something
new
that
part of the
is going to be
industry together.
forward.
So
Yes, it's not
really
going to
exciting.
appeal to everyone.
Thank you. Thanks, Layla.
But
And
Jimmy,
thank you
that's
to our
that's the thing
panelists. You
is
guys
that
have been very
no, these
inspirational,
panels do
very
happen at E3 in person
thought-provoking,
as well.
and have
They're just not
left
the
us with
focus of
great
a lot of what everyone
tidbits to
sees
take
at
away,
E3.
to take back
Yes,
to
you
our
have the big
corporations
companies
and our
that were
respective
always
organizations
on the
to
show
really
floor
make a
doing dev
deliberate
interviews and
impact
talking about the
in
games.
our
But a
community
lot
that
of the
we're
other
building
panels that were
and
going
this
on at the
whole
same time,
world of
especially on the
diversity
side
and
shows,
equity and
this
inclusion in the
is
video
this is
game
one of those things
industry.
that
So thank
that
you
was
all. Thank you to
happening
the
there.
viewers for joining, and have fun at the virtual E3 conference.
I will say that it is one of those things that was going on, right? It was about an hour long that they were doing this before Mythical Games, which is about to start here in a few.
I think ever since Mega Man X, I've just loved the sort of 8-bit, 16-bit pixel art style. As an artist, I just kind of...
Yeah, and that's the thing, Robot, is that I've been to E3 twice. I was there in 2018 and I was there at 2019. Yes, I saw a lot of the big showcases and everything, but like One Away Dragons TV, me and him, we also paid attention in trying to manage your time when you're going from all these different buildings, from the convention center to the Microsoft Theater to everything that was around there where it is in LA. There's so many panels going on at the same time. Everyone's only focused on what the E3 official team is doing on their stage. But there's a lot of other panels going on that aren't getting focused on. Because right now, since it's all digital, they're trying to do some of these more on a set schedule to give a lot more showcase of everything that's going on. Yeah, that panel just ended. Because Mythical Games is going to be starting next. But I just went ahead and muted it until it starts the next panel right now. So right now, this is where they're going through a lot of the celebrities and other big content creators they have that they had asked for stuff before. No, I understand, and that's
TV should have his own segment every
Yeah.
time he's on camera.
and I'm glad to clear that up for you. Robot, like I said, is that having been there, they're trying to adapt to a digital show, and it's hard to do that when you think about if you've been there, how much work goes into that, and how much is constantly going on. So there is a little bit that these kinds of panels are not going to appeal to everyone as a consumer. The mass community is not going to be interested in this information, but it's a conversation that needs to continuously happen, and it's one that we're very prominent about helping to support because it is something that is, at least to me, it's important to me as someone who comes from a lot of that background and that community, that I want to include that information. And my partner, of course, I was like, it's something that's very important to us. Everyone's entitled to their opinion, TJ, as the fact of that, people want games. There's nothing wrong with wanting games, but the fact is there has to come to an understanding of that diversity is to help with the creativity of things, because everyone thinks of who the face of a game is, or of a studio, and you're not seeing a lot of people of color, a lot of women. You're not seeing a lot of people who are a part of the queer community and stuff like that. What it is getting those people into the spots and chances to break out into the industry, to be able to get them in front of everyone who are helping to work on these projects. Because you think about how many devs are working on a single project, everyone wants to put it behind one person's face, who tends to be the big director and stuff like that. You know, everyone talks about God of War. They either think David Jaffe or they think Cory Barlog, who's the director and head of Sony Santa Monica right now. But you think about everyone else who works on that. Not everyone is going to pay attention to them, and everyone's just going to attribute it to one person. Just kind of what happened with Gears. Everyone attributes it to Cliff Bleszinski and what they did with Rod Ferguson. But the fact is, when you see how they transitioned the story and how it grew, it became more focused on diverse characters and not just a single character and stuff like that. That's what I think that they're trying to do, is to also provide the opportunity for others who want to get into that industry to be able to really have those opportunities or be aware of the resources that are available. Because there's been more programs in the past decade that are really kind of pushing that. Like I said, you look for how they want to approach to women, and especially young girls who are interested in STEM programs, such as science, math, and all that, by providing them with resources and programs like Girls Who Code or Girls Who Game and stuff like that, for those who really want to get out into those industries, into those fields. And then, of course, now they're looking at also creating programs for people of ethnic backgrounds, blacks, Hispanics, Asian minorities, and other stuff like that, as well as indigenous. We're starting to see a lot more representation from First Nation members as well, which is where a lot of my history comes from. I'm indigenous descent here in the U.S., and I also have family that comes from Spain. So a lot of this is very important to me as coming from those kind of ethnic backgrounds and not always seeing my people from my culture in front of everyone, you know? And I think that's the thing about it, is that not everyone's going to be happy about that. Not everyone's going to want to address that. Not everyone's going to want to talk about that, but it's something that does need to happen. I agree that those kinds of panels happen more at things like GDC, for the Game Developers Conference, because that's where a lot more developers are gathering to focus on those kinds of programs and talks and panels. But the fact is, right now, they have a chance to put it in front of everyone with this online E3 showcase. But there's going to be a lot of people who aren't going to be happy, especially when you think about what they've been wanting to do with how big gaming has been over the past year and a half. They want to focus on games, especially think about all the next-gen consoles that just launched last holiday season and everything. They want to focus on that. You saw how we saw the start with Summer Games Fest on Thursday, and then how some people felt with games that were showing off on the first day of E3 on Saturday. It's just one of those things that it's going to happen. Not everyone's going to be happy, but it's something that people should at least acknowledge and respect, and not necessarily be negative towards it. If you don't want to hear that conversation or you don't want to hear that information, that's fine. You don't have to. But the fact is, don't go attacking the companies or go attacking the people who want to talk about that, because it is something that is important, you know? That's just my thoughts on all of this. So that's where it comes to me, where it comes for me specifically. Now, a lot of people may not agree with me, and I'm perfectly okay with that because no one ever agrees with me at all, anyways. But then again, I also never shut up half the time. But it's just one of those things where I'm very big on where my stance is on a lot of all that. And here they're talking about Mythical Games. They're partnering with the team that makes the Blancos.
Version of that card, like you own that card. It was like 1 of 100 or 1 of 200, whatever, right?
Like, you know what, Akun, will you stop it?
Yeah,
like what you're already doing.
What you're already doing right now.
Cards. Yeah.
Exactly. And imagine you were able to do that. Now, this is obviously a fun game. You play with your friends, and it takes that same kind of concept of like ownership over what you have in your game, and then it just paints it with this fun-loving, colorful flair.
Yeah.
So I'm really looking forward to it. Huge shout out to Mythical Games. I think they're pushing the boundaries a little bit here. And
Is that right?
It's only the beginning because you're going to see more and more of this as the blockchain continues to improve.
Right, it's the tip of the sword, right?
I'm really interested in this one with Mythical Games and what they're doing with Blanco's Block Party, because the fact that I find it interesting because the fact that like they're talking about how it's going to be using NFTs and blockchain, and the fact is that you have character cards that you can collect and stuff like that, and scan those to get different characters within the game, and then of course you can build them up through cryptocurrency to be able to trade and sell for real money. No, it's no problem at all, TJ. I'm very open about everything that I talk about. I'm very open about that kind of information.
In your own words, what is Blanco's Block Party?
Oh, man.
And I know I don't have to, Lemon, but you know me. I was like, I at least like to give my side an understanding.
Or just a Blanco? I'm looking at you. Perfect. Awesome. So this was originally what we thought a player-owned economy in a video game could be.
So it's a cool mixture of art, design, music, entertainment.
This is like the evolution of modern art. Seeing how those artists use different mediums again, it's not just about canvases.
50% of my work is digital, and there's been rarely an outlet for that digital aspect of things.
What the gaming industry has really become is a lot
Twitch
about
drops are active
transactions and getting as much money out of the player as possible. What we're doing at Mythical with NFTs and blockchain really changes that script.
By the end of this time next year, I'm going to have a whole row of Blancos. So.
Play, earn.
I do like that.
Sell.
That's it. Sorry, I got lost. Can we start again?
See, I really like this. And no, I'm not. I'm the king of the Fight Club because I'm not the best. I'm just the only one stupid enough to do the things that I do, Cootie. You know this by now. See, this has been a very interesting concept because I like the aspect of going to that blockchain and understanding NFTs and player-built communities and economies and stuff like that. So it's very technological based, and I really like that because Blancos has always been interesting to me from the art and the little figurines. And grow the money to sell. I do kind of like this open world, that it's this kind of growing world MMO kind of style. I do like that. And it looks like one of those old school style MMOs where it's just like a whole kind of mess around. I do like this.
I just had a quadruple espresso. Is that a problem?
It's raining, which means things might cool down, but rain also brings humidity. Yes, Cootie, it does.
So working with Rudy and Jamie has really been a lot of fun.
You don't want to say anything but
really
what,
kind of
Akuma? And yes, Nintendo Direct tomorrow. Lemon, we're going to be all over that, absolutely.
We have teams in marketplace technology. And bringing these three worlds together, it's been a challenge at times, but also it's really helped us explore.
You know what this almost kind of reminds me of? It reminds me of a different version of kind of like Viva Pinata, but it also kind of reminds me of a more of kind of like Roblox, how that's kind of grown into an actual economy and worth money now that it's publicly traded. And the fact that this is more digital based with NFTs, that's what I'm kind of getting from it.
They can earn, they can really transact and be part of the world themselves. And that's really what they need to know. It really has become a great community, and we really encourage people to be part of that community.
when you're building a game,
Definitely will check it out. That year the king because you do all the stupid shit no one else will. Yes, that's true. I never changed that.
really epic gameplay.
The Nintendo Direct I'm actually looking forward to. Tomorrow we're going to be doing Nintendo Direct, Bandai, and then we'll be ending the showcase with the awards show. So we're going to have a couple different short streams tomorrow, guys, for anyone who's interested. Oh, it does remind me a little bit of Viva Pinata as well. Unboxing Blanco.
Every single Blanco has a story and have their own inspiration, their own flavor, and their own style. And I think that players are going to find that they'll go, oh, I like this toy because it speaks to me.
Pug life. I like that. I like pugs.
Outside of that, you are also upgrading and selling.
Oh.
You don't need to understand NFTs or blockchain at all to play Blanco's Block Party. All you need to know is how to play a game, and we teach you that.
I like playing games, buying, selling, trading. I'm all about free money, free money.
To express their creativity, players are going to have a role in helping to bring that world online.
It's just this city full of tons of different designs and colors and patterns. But the point is that you are meeting up with your friends, you're practicing your new skills out together, and then you're jumping into mini parties.
Yeah, okay.
Players can build their levels using our Blanco build tool. They can make whatever level they want. They can set the terrain, and then they could set the win conditions, and they could set the game type. So you can make this level into a shooter, or you can make this level into a race. There are things that we didn't even think was possible with our level editor that they've been able to do. I've seen levels that recreate a particular science fiction movie that I might not be able to say.
I wanted things that felt like beautiful pieces of art. We're just continually adding to this huge library of buildings and houses and vehicles and that kind of stuff. Things that you can throw together into to make your own block party.
I like block parties. Hype for Nintendo and Bandai for sure. Absolutely, I agree. Bandai alone has me looking forward to, but I really want to see what Nintendo does after all this talk about a new Switch Pro and stuff like that.
NFTs that have already been purchased in our open beta, and we've been seeing just tons and tons of people jump in.
Now that NFTs are moving into the mainstream, the most important thing for games, for gaming studios that want to focus on NFTs.
Hey there, Matt. How you doing today?
Their gameplay,
Matty-san.
their player experience is on par or exceeds anything else in the mainstream market today.
We're putting the fun in non-fungible tokens.
Also interested in seeing what the Indian Freedom show. Oh yeah, Freedom Games after this is about, and then Capcom. Yep.
Here with NFTs and blockchain.
There's definitely a lot of stuff that's going to be coming out here soon.
Players that can actually benefit and profit off of all the money they spend.
I mean, growing money from everything you put in.
In that world,
very busy.
Create a painting and sell a painting, and then that painting goes off to a collector, and then I get paid once, right? And then I have no idea, no control over who gets the painting, no idea if 20 people sell it down the road for exponential amount of money. I never see a dime of that. I have no idea what to think. So one of the cool things about NFTs is that smart contract that's locked in, and you're able to just not only track who gets it, but share that profit forever.
While one will collect for
and
love,
NFTs and digital currencies, the way that they're changing the market with things like that. You think about cryptocurrency, it is very interesting to see someone that's kind of like
vinyl toys are on
being
on
very
right?
open about
Just the
that and
very
kind of
fact
wanting to
Blanco's
pursue
Block
that.
Party created a platform where you could not only collect digital vinyl toys created by epic vinyl toy artists, but at the same time use those vinyl toys to battle other people in games. I truly believe that it's a magic formula for, not only epic capital appreciation on the assets themselves, but also, immense amount of enjoyment in playing the game.
Today's gamers are used to having a lot of control over customizing the experience that they have. We've seen that in the trend of games coming out over the last 10 years. Players spend a lot of time online, they spend a lot of time in digital space. That's where they want to express themselves, through skins, through cosmetics, through the things they buy.
3 of them in 4 hours.
I think that's where Blanco's really shines and what we can bring to the table, but also where I think NFTs play.
What do you mean 3 of them in 4 hours?
Because it gives you a chance to really own the world around you, the universe that you're customizing, you're creating. You've got a greater stake in this thing now. Rudy Koch, SVP Business Development. Am I just supposed to say that? Just my name? Title? All right. I'm a big-time collector. I collect vinyl toys. I have a whole wall of them at home. I'm a nerd. We're all
I do like
nerds.
vinyl
We
toys.
all
I do have like a whole
I
bunch of
love
Funko Pops. I was like, so I know all about collection.
I started my career in comic books.
I collect sneakers.
I loved Magic the Gathering.
I have a lot of Magic the Gathering cards and old Yu-Gi-Oh cards. I also love collecting steel books, and statues. I'm so bad. Take Two, Mythical, and Indie in 4 hours. Yeah.
On each of the NFTs that you buy. These are
That's kind of the goal. So just doing those few and Freedom Games. We're also gonna be doing Freedom Games, and then we're gonna take a break for about 2 hours and then come back for the Capcom showcase. So that's kind of what we're gonna be doing today. So we'll be doing that, and then tomorrow we'll be doing three separate ones. One for Nintendo, one for Bandai, and then one for the E3 awards.
The way to keep their value is you put them in the box, you put them on the shelf, you leave them there.
Yeah, never open them.
As you play with them, they get better. You can customize them. You can make them the way that you want them to be, but also increase their rarity and increase their scarcity by playing with them. Our leveling up process, it's called Grade Up. It draws from real toy and collectible culture. It's kind of a neat turn on everything that you would think about collectibles.
Yeah, you think about collectibles, most people just like don't ever open it, don't touch it, leave it in a pristine box for it to gain value, because if you open it up then it loses its value immediately.
There are mainly three that top my list. Again, Blanco's Block Party, Gods Unchained, as well as Axie's Infinity. They've been able to integrate blockchain within their gaming mechanisms, really in the background, rather than having it to be a requirement to be able to participate in the game and participate.
And very true indeed, Akumu. Very true.
A really key focus.
Interesting.
For my team.
I have some old wrestling figures that are like 15 years old that are still completely unopened and stuff like that. I think some are even older than that. So I know a lot about collecting.
Just making sure that the mainstream audience is able to enjoy the game and have a super simple experience.
Historically, like if you're playing a game and you're trying to sell your items, the game developer doesn't support that, right? And Mythical Games takes the stance of we enable it and we.
I have some Kingdom Hearts, Final Fantasy, Guild Wars figures. Okay.
Authority for consensus, which basically is a much lower carbon footprint than proof of work, and we're planning to bridge to multiple chains. We're bridging to Ethereum, which is about to go to proof of stake, which is about 99.5% less energy. By using blockchain technology, you own your game assets, and then you can build another marketplace. You can build another interface. You can bring them into another game, different metaverses.
Blockchain is very interesting on how it works in the technology industry, and NFTs are definitely better than most cryptocurrencies. You think about specifically like Bitcoining and how much power consumption goes into mining Bitcoin, which is a lot of power for very little comeback for making a profit.
What you're buying and your true ownership, and you have it forever. Because traditionally, game companies can just say there are 1,000 of them, but who knows if there are 1,000, right? With Mythical Games, we have provable scarcity. And with provable scarcity, as an investor, a collector, or a gamer, that's really what you want.
Interesting. Okay.
I've been drawing since I could hold a pen or a pencil. My granddad taught me how to do engineer drawing when I was 4. I've just fell in love with
so far this interview and this work with Mythical is very intriguing on how they're leveraging Blancos and this digital aspect.
And the music that I listen to. Do I have a favorite? That's like asking me what my favorite child is. It's currently my daughter, by the way, if anyone's asking. So for me, it just evolved.
No, I can never choose between my children. I could never. It's okay, son, you're my favorite.
Street art. I see an artist go from kind of painting it.
Shh, don't tell your mother or your sister.
Having a gallery showing or something like that. Seeing how those artists use different mediums again. It's not just about canvases. It's about sculpture. It's about taking these shapes and these 3D canvases and expressing their
I really do like the art of the Blancos figures. I do like that they kind of remind me of like old school street art, especially if you think of like
getting arrested for
like
doing throw-ups on trains.
skateboard style, right? You think about a lot of that like in your face kind of street canvas that you would expect out of art styles that skaters would use, right? Have you known anything about skater culture, how they have those designs from like companies like
about some of the artists that were bringing
let's see, you know, Spitfire and stuff like that. I was like, how they have that like over exaggerated kind of
Michael
style.
is a legend in the space. He's definitely known as the godfather of vinyl toys. He has this really awesome quote, which is all art are toys and all toys are art. And I think like that is perfect for Blancos. And so I think we're really excited to see his style come alive in our realm.
點解想合作？咁其實一路以嚟都好想自己
撈 Michael
可以喐啦，好似可以做一啲 animation 啊或者 game。咁今次真係有機會同一個咁配合到 figure 個 game 合作，所以係好開心。
Another artist and designer
Interesting.
that, you know, we're super excited to talk about is Quicks. And what I love about Quicks is that one, he's a graffiti artist, but two, he's super hip hop culture. Love his designs, love the samurai.
You know, he has this really iconic, like Japanese mech warrior style. So
Wait,
I think
what?
we are all just excited to see that come alive in the Blancos universe.
That's dope.
My artwork and the style of toys that I do now are pretty much rooted from the stuff that I've loved since I was a kid.
Oh, that's
I grew up
dope.
in the 80s,
I like
was
those.
heavily influenced by a lot of Japanese robot shows.
I love Mecha.
Like my Mickey Mouse, he represents Japanese robots, hip hop, and graffiti, all rolled into one character.
This brand
Call him Mickey
that we're
Mouse.
going
That's
to reveal
awesome.
now is near and dear to my heart. I'm actually wearing some sneakers that represent them. I will let my friend Nicole here tee it up.
The Marathon Company, from a culture perspective, they've worked with some incredible folks, obviously led by Nipsey
I know about
Hussle.
I know about the
and
Marathon
we certainly
Company.
want to honor his memory.
Nip was someone before he passed who was already into technology. It's such an honor to be able to carry on his legacy in a sense.
I know about
and bring
Nipsey.
into the world of Blancos.
Interesting.
One Blanco can be so many different things. A Blanco can be a pattern, it can be a unicorn, it can be so many different characters. We work regularly with Kronk, his skill at being able to
There's the
create
pug life.
characters, making
Seriously, pugs are
commit
awesome.
to those
I was like, I do love a
characters
good.
that
I love
believable.
pugs.
And then we have JPK, we have industry legends like James Groman, Nikki Davis, Sarah McPherson,
Battleground Chamako, Junko Mizuno, Hakutel, and Thomas Han.
We're not just picking from one person's perspective, which really
Okay, I'm really liking what they're showing off. I'm really digging this. I'm glad I got a little bit more into it and got a little bit more information with this. Oh, we know who that is. Dead Mouse.
I am an avid vinyl toy collector. I have just a house.
I want a pug.
Vinyl toys. To find a game that
It's either a pug or a corgi or a Shiba.
Kind of tangible good and have that element in the game. No
What?
doubt. By the end of this time next year, I'm gonna have a whole row.
I do want a
of
capybara,
Blancos.
but if we're gonna get another dog, I was like, gotta get another one.
3D form. I think it's a really great online.
We can get it.
system for
Look, we're gonna get like
industry
5 dogs,
where
all right?
It keeps its integrity.
I'm just
and
saying,
isn't
Shiba and
bastardized.
a corgi.
Whether it's on geometry or it's sculpted or it's just tags on walls and stuff like that. I like that. I just like
Yeah, they
exploring the space, and then you still see this coalescence of.
Yep,
cohesion
Shibas.
as
Super
opposed
smart.
to a random vomit. Art exhibit games like Blancos, I think is a really great bridge between the traditional mediums of creating art, digital art, or street art or stuff like that, and then into the game.
Okay, I
And
like
that's
this.
cool,
I like
'cause,
this.
all the elements that are familiar to the.
Hey, what's going on, Lady Foxfire? How you been doing, sis? You doing good? Black Lab for the win. Is that right? Oh, hey, look at that. Dead Mouse has got a little Blancos.
Anything else,
All right.
ladies? In the back.
So now that the video is coming to a close, download Blancos, blancos.com.
I'm glad to see you're
Bring
doing
your
good.
Vinyl toys to life. Build your own levels. Buy all the designs from your favorite brands, artists, and designers. Share it with all your friends so they
Yep.
download and play
I do.
together.
I was like,
And
technically,
we
my
look forward
dog
to
is
seeing you
a
within the world of
corgi and a
Wait,
pit terrier
we're
mix.
partnering with the fashion industry's most coveted brands to bring you their style, Blanco style. And our first collab is a name you'll recognize.
Who?
They're known worldwide for their signature plaids and heritage prints.
Interesting.
I'm incredibly excited to announce that Burberry will be partnering with Mythical Games to launch a
Really?
limited edition Blanco
Burberry?
in their game Blanco's Block Party. Pushing boundaries and discovering new ways to innovate with our communities have always been
Okay.
what we do as a brand. Being a
Burberry is actually a very big known fashion company. Okay, I see you out there.
perfect evolution of our existing engagement with the gaming communities. This partnership presents Burberry's first exploration into the world of NFTs. This opens up a whole new
Interesting.
platform of possibilities, and it empowers digital natives and gamers to own a piece of our brand and actively engage and participate with our house codes. We can't wait to embark on this pioneering journey with Mythical Games as we explore the future of digital ownership in gaming, whilst discovering new environments and a myriad of possibilities within this community.
Coming summer 2021. So they got the Burberry crossover, and they also got Deadmau5.
That's a good question. Here, give me.
It's in early access, so if anyone wants to check it out, you can go download it for free right now at blankos.com/download.
If you're ready to start building, playing, and earning, you can download and join Blanco's Block Party now in early access on PC.
Like, share, and subscribe.
Also, watch your favorite content creators on Twitch this week for a chance to get an exclusive new Blanco, only available through Twitch.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
On behalf of all of us at Mythical, thanks for joining.
I feel like you nailed it.
So if anyone's interested, I will probably be doing something with that. I was like, maybe Akumu will be joining me.
E3 2021. And
We'll be checking that out.
thoughts on Mythical Games here.
Also, I can actively say this now for anyone who is actually interested. I actually have a video interview with the team from Mythical Games. So be sure to be looking out for that because it will be going live on the it's going to be on the Level 1 Gaming YouTube channel, and you also should see the video on our website level1gaming.com. So yeah, there was a reason I was really interested in this because I've seen Blancos around because I saw them at South by Southwest back in 2020 before the lockdown and everything happened. So I was aware of Blancos a little bit, but actually seeing a lot more of them now is going to be very, very interesting. So I'm kind of looking forward to this. I was like, I really am digging what they're doing with the game and what it's trying to be. Yep. I was like, I am very proud of the work that I'm doing. And I was like, and it's been a massive push for everything, but it's definitely growing in a great way. I was like, and if anyone wants to talk to us whenever we are offline or anything, be aware that we are very active in our Gilded server, which you can go and be able to check us out and not only talk with me, but the rest of the community as well, where we talk about a lot of random shenanigans and stuff like that as well. Y'all guys can get updates to everything that's going on, not with just me, but with others, so that way y'all are aware of everything. And yes, it has its own command now, Akumu. So don't be yelling at me saying I didn't do it. Always getting yelled at. No, don't you dare. I was like, same goes to you, Cootie. None of that. But yes, if you guys want to be able to check us out, you can go right there and find the link to our server and everything. So that way you can talk with the rest of us. Wow, I'm getting absolutely disrespected right now. Yes, guys, but Level 1 Gaming, great family, a lot of amazing people over there. Much love to Fame N2K, to Dallas Man, Citizen Snips, Floor Hugger, beautiful people, amazing family to me, older siblings, everything, as well as I have been writing articles on our website as well as being one of their editors over at lb1gaming.com. So you'll be able to find a lot of my articles and Akumu's as well because she's been writing some stuff and working on some reviews. So if you want to see some of the best gaming news from an all minority-owned team trying to break out into the community, and definitely help show up and break away from all the clickbait and fake news that you see from all these other publications. Kotaku. Definitely make sure you guys go check that out. What do we got here? What are they showing now? Oh, they're showing more about the Deadmau5 interview. Okay, interesting.
So how did this collaboration come about?
I think Inder forced it on us.
Yeah. We didn't want to work together again. We would.
No. It was all mandated. Orders
So that was just that's Ruby playing. But yes, there's a lot of things going on, guys, and I appreciate all y'all who've been helping to make this happen and do a lot of things with getting it built up the way that it is. You guys have absolutely been phenomenal and a major part of everything. So I appreciate you guys and being able to finally come back, right? To finally get back into doing stuff more, as well as breaking back out on YouTube. I was like, you guys have been awesome as well. So I appreciate all of that as well.
With that same kind of video gaming thing, that was what really got me excited.
I just realized that the controls on there are all PlayStation controls right now. I wonder if it has support for Xbox controllers.
And it was cool to like figure out how we represented him as well.
What was the inspiration behind the Deadmau5 cross Blankos character?
I mean, from my point of view, I knew.
So we'll kind of see. I do kind of like this.
Like Joel's cat, Meowingtons, is a big part of his life, and it felt like, you know, we wanted to.
Are you all snuggled up over there, Kumu? Is that what you're trying to say?
Part of who he is and what he does, but we.
She's trying to say that she is a comfy Kumu.
Modifications of the Blanco, we wanted to make it a bit bigger than that. So it's actually
yes,
the
she is.
first time we've got a full pet attachment in the game. And then we were like, well, you know, it'd be cool if when
She's hitting it early. She's gonna pop out for that Capcom later. That's what she's trying to say.
And we kind of took a play on that, and I thought it was really cool.
I have my icy, and now I
think it was
snuggle.
really cool
Oh, is that
they
right?
Didn't just slap the mouse head on it and call it a day. I mean, they also integrated the cat, my cat, Meowingtons, who I'm a big fan of.
But right now we have the indie showcase getting ready to start, and about 30 after this interview.
Which is pretty cool because he's kind of all part of the Deadmau5 Joel ethos.
Yeah, definitely. I should get something small myself. Definitely, Cody. Make sure you eat. But yes, lady, Foxfire. So yeah, there's a lot of stuff. I've written a lot of news articles about a lot of different games going back all the way to last year. I've actually written a few reviews myself. I wrote on the website. I wrote the review for Yakuza Like a Dragon. I did the review for the Dark Pictures anthology for
general consensus right now. If you were to ask,
what was it, Little Hope? I'm going to be doing the review for House of Ashes because I streamed that with Akumu and my roommates because we do that together. Me and her doing the co-op. I'm going to be doing the review for Lost Judgment later this year because, you know, Yakuza's all mine. I already called dibs on the Scarlet Nexus review. So trust me, I was like, I put out a lot of stuff over there, and so does the team. They work really hard. I was like, they do some great stuff. I was like, on the YouTube channel, of course, they have the double XP podcast, and just so much content from just a passionate group of people.
Blockchain being the similar concept, but decentralized across all computers.
So much love for looking into all that, sis.
The infrastructure works with blockchain is that's all very easily swapped.
You're not behind. You got a head start. That's what it is.
That metadata that ties to the assets can be interchangeable between.
I was supposed to be on right now, but I'm relaxing.
So now I think.
No, don't cry.
People are just now starting to.
No more crying.
Kind of take in that standard protocol of fetching and receiving wallet data and stuff like that, tying assets to individuals through game platforms is a big win.
But then what are the benefits of NFTs for players?
So from a Blanco's point of view, it's about trust, really. If you boil it down, it's about
trust, he says.
And proof of ownership. No gamer has truly owned any asset they've ever bought in a game before. It's all just a license, right? And
yeah, it's just a license.
Kind of just trusting them. There's no way to prove it. Whereas with NFTs, you can kind of, it's proof. You can see it. It's open. If we say there's this many, there's this many. If you own it, you own it. And with Blankos and our marketplace, that means you can also go and sell it as well. So really, it's just about trust and truly owning the assets that you pay money for.
When's the first Deadmau5 Blanco drop?
This summer.
This summer? Like this summer or next summer? This summer. Oh, nice.
Thanks for joining us, guys. Now, let's get back to the show.
I like how even it sounded like Dead Mouse. He was just like, wait, what? This summer? He's like, I wasn't aware of that.
One of the things I liked, obviously, in the Dead Mouse presentation here was him being very much like, why are you doing this with your brand? He's like, because nobody knows what it is. It's groundbreaking, it's cutting edge, and I like the idea of embracing something that, is this going to work? Is it going to translate to video games? Who knows? The other thing I liked that I didn't call it from the original presentation, because I didn't get the presentation about NFTs from Golden Boy.
So,
you didn't get the special one-on-ones.
But I really appreciate the idea that the original artist gets money on these. I didn't realize that. You make it, and I buy it from the marketplace, but then I sell it.
Well,
20 times over.
you heard what he said, right? Like, he makes one of the artists said, I make a piece, and then that piece gets sold, and then that piece gets.
But I do like the understanding and concept of NFTs. Like I said, this is going to be a very interesting concept that's going to kind of come into play, right? Is the fact if you think of, I've talked about it at length, is digital marketplaces and just digital currency and the way that technology is growing, that a lot of people are very unsure of NFTs, and you think that it's an all digital aspect, but using blockchain, it can be able to be utilized across different things, and be able to be taken into multiple systems real easily through it. But the fact is that it creates this long strand of that. There's always way to make money after you sell something, because of the fact that you have, it basically is like a digital inscription that it always belongs to you. So you're always making something down the line, compared to, you make a sale one time, it's one time, and then that person goes on and on, like they kind of mentioned before. So it's very interesting the way that it's going to work, especially when you think about in a digital marketplace. But it allows that creativity. So you buy something that someone else made, you add on to it, make it a little bit more, and then you turn around and sell it. You make something off of it, and then the original person goes on, and then someone else gets it, adds on to it, they sell it, but everyone kind of makes this steady stream of continuous goings. So it's going to be a very interesting concept with how it's going to work. But you think about art, like they mentioned, is that this is probably one of the best ways, because this is a living, breathing art piece, right? Vinyl collections and stuff like that, and video games is basically living, breathing art. But the little Blanco figures, little vinyl figurines as they are, let's say they're very much just a digital art at that point. It's just an actual art piece that could be continuously improved upon, and not, when you change it up, that it's completely ruined and lost all of its profit or all of its value, right? It's one of those interesting concepts. But I like it a lot. I'm definitely into it and looking forward to what it does. Yeah. Gaming news, announcements, interviews. All right, cool. A lot of the usual stuff. But with that kind of being said, guys, I was like, I really am looking forward to what comes next, right? There's definitely going to be a lot of things that are coming down the line, and I'm absolutely all for what's the future is at GameSpot. No one cares about you, GameSpot. Oh yes, the PS5 box. That's basically just Egg Cart holding a console. Ooh, I do want to get one of those. I did really like that. Is that the what's it? The Mario Kart in real life. You get the little Mario Kart that you can sync to your Bluetooth, and you can have like an augmented reality little Mario Kart track drive around. Oh my god, if I did that, my dog would lose her mind. Akumu, don't you think that if I got that Mario Kart in real life, the one that you can control with your phone, that's like the augmented Mario Kart track, that just driving that thing around would absolutely make Naomi just go insane trying to chase after it. She would absolutely tackle that thing in a heartbeat. That would be great. But now we got 15 minutes until the start of, what is this? Birth of a new gaming universe.
Next is an indie showcase. Do you have the notebook over there?
Yes, I do. I have the indie showcase. Oh, right, binge.
So you're prepared to write the stuff down?
Am I doing it solo?
Yeah, I suppose I'll get up from my kumu burrito and join you.
Are you gonna get up from your kumu burrito?
I suppose so.
Do you suppose so? Do you really?
I'm just feeling lazy, but I get up. I do really like indie games, so I'm curious to see what's gonna be, what they're gonna do.
Is that right?
Mhm.
Okay. The Akumu said that she is going to grace us with her presence during the indie showcase. That is when she shall decide to step and grace us with herself. So studio head of Other Ocean, interesting. I will say that the one game that does that really caught my eye yesterday was Sacrifier. That one looked really interesting because it made me really think of old school '90s JRPGs. I think that was a very interesting one. Kind of thinking about uh, what we kind of saw from the stuff yesterday. I am looking forward to that. So, what have you guys seen so far that has been interesting to you? Uh, Actually, Lady Foxfire, let's say, what have you seen that that you really saw? Welcome to Zero Game E3. Perfection. Meh. What do you mean, Shadow? What do you mean Zero Game E3? I'll say that there hasn't been many games, at least on day 3, to show off, but the indie game showcase is going to be the next big thing. I was like, we just saw the Mythical Games showcase, which is very interesting with the way that they're leveraging NFTs and blockchain technology and doing a lot more technology heavy and interesting concepts that hasn't really been attempted before, and building an online marketplace with an actual evolving player economy, since probably something that was like maybe Minecraft but not necessarily. And even if you look at Roblox, I was like, that has a very interesting aspect but nowhere on this level, so it's very interesting. Sacrifice did look interesting. I'm just hyped for Eden Spiritual Sectors to squeak it in. Yes, Eden Chronicles, and we're getting two of them. We're getting Rising and 100 Heroes War. That one looks interesting. I mean, everything. Everything. Did you not enjoy the Xbox and Bethesda showcase yesterday or anything like that? Because I've seen so far from what we saw, especially yesterday, I was like, the Xbox Bethesda showcase was really great. Square Enix had some good stuff that was really interesting. The PC gaming show actually blew me away and everything. Yeah, Halo Infinite looks really dope. The multiplayer has me excited. Saw the multiplayer for Battlefield 2042. I'm looking forward to that. Just a lot of the games from the Xbox showcase has me excited for everything. 30 games, 27 all coming into Game Pass. I'm so glad Hades is coming to Xbox. Just a lot. So many great things. I don't know what to pick. Well, just say something, Lady Fox. I was like, just tell me. Tell me anything. Oh, yeah. I know Kun was excited for Redfall. Me and her were both excited for Redfall. Simply, I'm excited for Redfall because I'm a big Arcane fan. Like, I loved Prey. I loved Dishonored, both 1, 2, and Death of the Outsider. Like the last bastions of first-person simulation style games. I love what they've done, and I'm really looking forward to that. So Redfall has me excited.